Good morning, investors. Thank you so much for dropping by my YouTube channel. Wanted to put out a series of videos for beginners on how to begin to trade stock on the US Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500, and the various exchanges that are out there. So this is a beginner's class, as I mentioned before, very rudimentary. I use TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim Platform, so we're going to go through that here in a second. Before we get started with that, just a little house cleaning rules. If you are having a little bit of trouble of hearing me, there's a little bit of issue with the sound today, but the video is going to be perfectly fine. So just turn that volume up just a little bit, and we should be good to go. Also, if you have not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video, hit a thumbs up and share it with your family and friends. This is something that's very easy. Anyone, once you've got the platform installed, can go through and follow along. Again, this is part one of a 7-part series that I'm going to be doing. Now, I do have some other courses that I'll be teaching as well from an intermediate standpoint, which includes options, and then from a mastery standpoint on how to put an entire strategy together to where you can set it and then go and do what you have to do for the rest of the day. So that's pretty much how I operate. I've got my strategies and everything in place based on whatever news comes out. Then I may adjust those strategies a little bit, but I'm not sitting here all day watching stocks or anything like that. There's no need to do that. But I just wanted to kind of share with everyone what I'm doing. So back in the background, you see my television. That's CNBC. So I sit and I listen while I'm working to what's going on in the markets, various CEOs when they come on. If I'm looking at their stock, then I'll go back in and I'll take a look and see if it's something that I want to purchase or if it's something that I want to let go if I already have it. So anyway, we should be getting started here in just a second. I would just want to make sure that everyone understands that down below there's a link for the actual PDF for these videos that I'm going to be showing you. So you can also download that, print that off, and have that as a reference as you go through the other series of the videos, okay? So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go out to the internet and make sure that you have Thinkorswim downloaded on your machine. So what you do is go to open up your browser, just type in Thinkorswim. It'll go out, it'll find it. So Thinkorswim, you go to the platform, and this is going to be the platform that you're going to see. Now what you'll have to do is open up a new account. Now the good thing about dealing with TD Ameritrade is you don't have to fund the account immediately, but you will need to open up an account in order to kind of have this this application stuff downloaded on your machine, or you can use it through the internet. So what you do is just go and open up a new account. Best thing to do is probably open up an individual brokerage account, which is just going to give you that basic account to be able to use the application. And you'll go through a number of questions once it pops up. So you'll see just name, email address, things of that nature. But as you go through this, I'm not going to walk through this. It'll take you about 5 minutes to do. But as you go through this, it's very intuitive, it's very user-friendly, so it'll give you the information that you need in order to put in there, or it'll ask you the information. So it's not difficult at all. So what you'll want to do is go in, and once you've got your account created, it'll allow you to download the actual application to your machine. And so once you have it downloaded to your particular machine, then you can actually go into it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, but I'm going to show you kind of how it operates when you open it up. So when you see it going through its motions and gyrations and things like that, you don't have to get worried or anything like that. It's just doing its thing. But what Thinkorswim does, and what TD Ameritrade has done, is they've given you the opportunity to use either live accounts or what's called paper money. So I want to show you paper money for just a minute. And paper money is just a temporary account where you can go in and what they do is they fund it with some fake money, and you can go in and develop your strategies. You can go in and make mistakes. You can go in and kind of play around with the tool without losing any real money. So I think it's very, very cool that they have this out here. So what you do is you go ahead and you'll just click on that again. It's going to go through its gyrations, and you cannot go between the two. You can't toggle between the two. And what I mean by you can't log into paper money and then toggle over to the actual account. They're two separate and completely different accounts. And what you'll see is once you log into paper money, it'll say simulated trading. So anytime you see simulated trading or you see this yellow border around the application, that means that you're in paper money. So that means that you can go out, you can do whatever you want to do, and you're not going to lose, or it's not going to affect any of your accounts that you actually have open that has real money in it. So they give you, like I said, $200,000 to kind of play with, and you just go out there and learn how to use this tool to the best of your ability without risking any money. Okay, so but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and log back out of here. Again, remember, you cannot toggle between these two. You have to log out and then log back in. So I'm going to go ahead and log out. It's going to ask me that. I'm going to go ahead and fire this up once again. And again, it's going to go through that gyration. It goes out, it checks the servers to see if there's any updates, anything that needs to be added. I'm going to toggle this back to live trading. Now, what I've done is I've got the same username for both of my accounts. It's easier for me, username and password. I don't have to remember, 10,000 different passwords. We all know how difficult it is with these passwords, man. You got a password for this and a password for that. And you try to do your best to have these things stored somewhere, but someone's always trying to hack in and get your stuff. So I just have it all the same, and I'm not trying to remember a bunch of passwords. But we're going to go ahead, I'm going to do live trading. Again, we're going to log in. It's going to do its same gyrations. It's going to go through. It's going to check to see if there's anything. It's going to create the desktop that I have saved. Okay. So once it comes up, and again, we're just going to take an overview for today. I want to introduce you all to the application, and then on the next couple of days, remember this is part 1 of a 7-part series. The next couple of days, we're going to go through and we're going to really play in here. I'm going to do some live trading. I'm going to show you exactly what it is that I'm buying, why I'm buying it. Again, I cannot tell you what to buy. I am a registered agent. I am licensed in the state of Texas, but I cannot make recommendations to you. So I'm just showing you and sharing with you what I'm doing. So anyway, so I'm going to give you a familiarization of the portal, what it looks like, and what to expect. Now, the best thing to do is to go ahead and get this thing downloaded and get it on your machine, and then you can go into paper money and kind of go through this tutorial again and then kind of play. What I'm going to do for you is add the manual. So you'll see the manual down at the bottom. You'll see a link to that. It goes to my Dropbox. You can have the manual. You can download that manual as well, and it'll give greater detail to what I'm giving. So it's just a supplementary piece of documentation for what we're doing. Okay. So anyway, so this is the account. Again, I've got 2 of these accounts that I kind of play with every now and again just to get my strategies and everything in place, figure out what I'm going to do. But it has your account info. I've got all of this kind of blocked out because I want to make sure that I protect myself and protect you all. I don't want you to think that you got to have $10,000 or $100,000 to do this. You can start trading for $25. I'm going to show you some stock that you can buy right now today for $25 before we get, for less than $25, actually less than 10 bucks. That you can get. It's good stock. It's Dow Jones industrial stuff, penny stocks, but it's reputable companies. So I'll share that with you as well. But this is kind of the overlay. So you've got your account info. What it does is it gives you your buying power, it gives you your option power, it gives you what your current account is, whether you've got that secured by some type of security or if you've got free cash laying around that you can invest in. So that's kind of what the account info is. Now, what you'll see here is these little modules, these widgets. And these widgets are really all of the stock that I'm watching. So I've got a couple of positions, I should say, in here. Bought some gold. I've got DocuSign here in Stansberry. Now, I follow Stansberry very closely. They do a lot of in-depth research and in-depth market analysis. And so I keep an eye on some of their stocks. So if I hear something while I'm watching television, if you all can see in the background, if I hear something and I've got it over here, I can just go take an immediate look at it and kind of see what's going on with it. So it's always good to put yourself in a position to where you don't have a whole lot of noise, you don't have a whole lot of things going on. One thing that I do want to help you understand is that I'm not sitting here in front of my machine all day long. I have my strategies in place. If I see something the night before, I'll kind of do a little bit of research and I'll look into it, and then the next morning I'll get up, I'll plant my strategy, and then I'm off to other things. I've got about 3 other businesses that I'm building, affiliate marketing, things of that nature, that require my close attention. Whereas this, I know what type of strategy I want, both short term and long term, and so I just set it and really go. But we're going to get into in-depth a look at this a little bit later in the course also. So this is a beginner's course, so it's going to be very, very rudimentary today. But I have an intermediate course, I have an advanced or expert course, and then I have a mastery course. Now, I'm offering this course and the intermediate course for free, but the other two courses are a hold your hand, you join me, let's get together, kind of a cost thing. So, and I'll make that available at the end of this beginner series. So anyway, so we've got Stansberry. So again, there's a bunch of stock down here. We've got Amazon, we've got DocuSign, we've got PayPal, we've got Nokia, we've got Nike, we've got all of these stocks that I kind of keep an eye on. And so you'll want to find, if you think about the things that are in your house, if you have Nike shoes on and you wear them and you like their apparel, you like their clothes, that may be a stock that you may want to own. If you have any type of appliances or anything like that that you really like, you may want to have that stock as part of your portfolio. So you can go in, you know, a Walmart, or you can go into a any type of restaurant or something like that that's publicly traded, like a McDonald's or something like that, and say, hey, I own part of this place. And you actually do, because you've got the stock and you're part owner of that. So just think about the things around your house that you may want to invest in, simply because you're already a customer of that product. And if you like it, you should have stock in it. You should have ownership of it. So, but anyway, so that's kind of what Stansberry is. Here's the S&P Spider ETFs. I do trade ETFs, electronically traded funds. Now, these are sector ETFs, and what that is, for instance, is investing in multiple companies that may be in the transportation sector, or maybe in the health and wellness, or health and beauty, or the retail sector. So what it is that it's mirrored against the S&P 500. So what they do is they stack that ETF with companies that are similar to the ones that are in the S&P 500, and it mirrors it and it matches it. And as we go through this series and stuff, I'll show you all that and give you an idea of what it is to expect. But that's kind of what I do. So diversifying the portfolio, asset allocation across multiple industries and multiple sectors in order to protect yourself and protect your income. So there's two things that are going for you. So you've got short term, which generates income on a daily, weekly, a monthly basis, however you want that strategy to set up. And then you've got your long term, which is going to help you expand out and grow your wealth as the stock market grows. I know that people are afraid of the stock market. I think it's something to where if you learn the language and you understand what's going on, you're not going to have to worry about, you've got a certain level of risk, you've got a certain amount of money that you're going to invest, and you have a strategy just going to help you reach the goals that you set. So there's no reason to be afraid or to have fear of the stock market. As long as you're on top of it and you're keeping aware of what the news and everything is going on out in the public sector, out in these companies, you don't have to worry about that. I always tell people, if you want to be the best at what you want to be, then you have to go and you have to immerse yourself into it. Michael Jordan did not become one of the greatest basketball players to ever play by playing basketball on a Saturday, and you don't see him again until the next Saturday. He lived, he breathed basketball. So this is what you have to do as well. You have to learn the language of the financial markets. You have to learn the language of the banking markets. You have to learn the fundamentals of different types of companies, depending on what sector and what industry they're in. Then the moment that you do that and you begin to have that language, when someone says something on television, it's not foreign language to you anymore. You don't have to fear. It's like, oh man, I know what that is. Now I can go check it out. So just immerse yourself. I'm going to share some materials with you all later that you can pick up. But yeah, so that's it. So those are the sector ETFs, sector spider ETFs, things that I invest in as well. So you've got gold ETFs, you've got silver ETFs, you've got palladium, you've got platinum, you've got all of these ETFs that are out there. But it's going to take homework in order to know where to put your money, how to put it, how long to keep it there, depending on what strategy it is that you have, okay? So we're going to go through a couple of these tabs up here. I'm not going to get too in depth today because I don't want this to be an hour and a half long. I just want to introduce you to it, give you an opportunity to go back, download the application, download the PDF file so that you can kind of look through it. And then when I roll out the next video for tomorrow, then you'll have a better idea and we can kind of play along as we go through this, okay? All right, so let's go through and just kind of look at some of the tabs, okay? So again, let me show you how this works for one. So if we go here, let me go to trade. So if we're talking about trading, that means buying or selling stock. So if you pay attention to this number, right here, there's number 1, it's a symbol link. The cool thing about Thinkorswim is you can link all of these different types of widgets across your entire platform. That's the cool thing about it. So if I want to just look at what I have in my positions, all I have to do is go here and change that to 1, right? So now these two are linked, right? And so now you've got all of these applications in here that are going to tell you, this is more along the lines of trading and buying, but it's going to help you understand and help you see things at a quick glance without having to go and click here and click there and click there and click there. So it's an opportunity for you to just go out and kind of look at what's going on and see the industry, see the company, what it's doing without spending a whole lot of time, okay? So let's just go here and take a look at the charts. Again, we're going to change this to 1 just so that we can have a look at, for instance, DocuSign. That's one of the stocks that I have. If you kind of take a look at what it's doing, so you look at this chart, and I'm going to explain this chart when we talk about technical analysis in part 3. So we're talking about introductory today to the application. We'll talk about fundamentals tomorrow, and then we'll talk about technical analysis the 3rd day. And then after that, we'll put it all together, and then we'll start talking about trading. All right. So anyway, this is going to give you a chart. This is kind of the overview of everything that you're doing, everything that you're seeing, everything that you're watching. The cool thing about it is, say you have 3 or 4 stocks. So say I've got DocuSign here, which you see right here, and then I have my company STM. So I want to look at both of those at the same time. So here's what I would do. If you see my mouse over here, okay, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click this. Now I've got another box that I can look at. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to link that to number 1 as well. And then we're going to put STM in there. So now I'm looking at 2 different stocks at the same time. Okay, and you can do this by going in here and you can look at 10, 15, 20 stocks, depending on how much real estate you have. I've got 2 27-inch monitors that I look at, so I've got a lot of real estate. And like I said, I don't sit here and just watch. I'm not like a day trader where I'm watching these charts all day, but I do like to look at stocks that are in similar industries and compare them, and I can put them side by side and do that. But this is kind of what you get whenever you go back and you look at you're looking at multiple stocks and you're trying to figure out what it is that you want. I'm just going to leave this here for STM for right now. Let's go back to DocuSign and just put that back up. And so this particular screen here is going to give me, this is actually the chart analysis. This is going to give me the volume, and it's going to give me the volatility on whether or not people are, if there's a high demand to trade, a lot of trading going on, or if there's a little. So where you see the spikes at, sometimes these spikes are indications to buy or indications to sell. So you really have to pay attention. And then down here, you've got the MACD, which is the histogram, which kind of gives you an idea of what the stock is doing based on market sentiment, based on financial behavior. So you've got these different points. You've got, the volatility, price volatility, volume volatility. You've got MACD and history, and you've got all these points that you got to bring them all together in order to give you the proper signal in order to buy. One thing that you don't want to do is to go out and buy a stock because someone told you to buy a stock. That's the worst thing that you could ever do. Because if you go out and you do that, you don't know what kind of research or analysis they've done. You don't know what their strategy is. And if you go out and do that, it could be in conflict with your strategy, and it could cost you money. It could also make you money. So you have to be careful about those conversations that you're having with people. I don't. When someone says, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about buying this stock, I will come in here and I will do my own work. And I will get busy, because it's not going to matter if you buy it 1 day, maybe 2 days or 3 days later. You can wait a little bit of time in order to get an idea of what that company is doing, check the fundamentals, check the history, go back and look at the chart, and then put that stuff all together before you make a definitive decision on whether or not you want to buy that stock. Okay, so we've got our chart. We'll go back and we'll look at analyze. Now, analyze, this is really cool. And again, tomorrow we're going to get into fundamentals. But when you look at the analyze, this is NVIDIA. So let's just talk about NVIDIA for just a minute. NVIDIA is a company that is leading, and it's the reason why I'm watching this stock. It's a company that's leading the 5G revolution. So it is one of those companies that makes chips. It's in just about everything. And so they've just gotten a contract with an AI, a company that's developing AI to help do driverless cars, to help do the drones that deliver packages. NVIDIA is all over the place. And so I went out, and if you look here where it says, buy and accumulate, what this is you've got different type of market analysis research firms that are going out, taking a look at these stocks, and they're saying, hey, you know what, based on what we know about this company, we recommend that you buy it, or we recommend that you have long calls on it. We recommend that you accumulate it, and they give their star rating and things like that. Now, simply because this company did that does not mean that you should go and buy the stock. You have to do your homework. You have to determine whether or not it fits into your strategy, and then you have to go from there. Okay? So I just want to show you guys something really, really quick. We'll take a look at Apple just so that you understand kind of what it is that I look at. So for Apple, when we're looking at Apple Inc., we're looking at the fundamentals. So they're saying hold. If you've got stock, that means hold. It's a 4-star on the Morningstar. It is a buy, and it is go long on puts and or long calls on options. Okay. So if you go down here, it kind of tells you all of the things that are going on with the company. The annual report, the quarterly report for financials. So you get this financial statement, and you have to learn how to read these financial statements in order to be effective in choosing the right stock for your particular strategy. Okay. So, but if you go down and you kind of just scroll through and you take a look and you read some of the fundamentals and everything, you kind of get an idea of what it is that Apple is doing. So down here, one of the major things that they're doing is they've got a new iPhone getting ready to come out. They've got services industry. They've got Mac, iPad. So it's kind of giving you an idea of where they're drawing a lot of their revenue from. And right now, of course, the iPhone costs $1 billion a piece. So they're making a lot of money on this stuff. And so you'll want to look at companies that have solid financial sheets. One of the books that I'm going to share with you a little bit later, The Intelligent Investor, you have people like Warren Buffett that are looking at the very same thing that I'm sure he paid a lot of money to look at. You get this stuff just by simply opening up an account for free with TD Ameritrade. And once you learn the art of being able to read the fundamentals, you couple that with technical analysis, then you're out there picking stock and you're picking winners all the time. Okay, so just take a look at this, and once you download, you can take a look at this and kind of get in there and kind of poke around a little bit. But this is kind of some of the foundational stuff that you have to know in order to be successful. The good thing about it is that with these new companies, Charles Schwab just bought E-Trade. We've got TD Ameritrade. There's Robinhood out there. There's multiple companies out there that are now free. You don't have to pay the trade commissions. When I first started this some time ago, it was $7.99 per trade. Then it went down to $4.99. Then it went down to $1.99. Now it's down to $0. TD Ameritrade doesn't charge any type of commission for regular trade, but it does charge a commission for any type of options contracts. So options is a long way away because you got to really understand what options are doing, or you'll lose your shirt messing around with options and not know how they actually work. But the good thing about it is that you have me. I'm going to help you learn that as well on a very basic level. So anyway, so we'll go through this and getting in there and taking a look at each and every one of these tabs, kind of understanding what it is that we're doing. Again, you've got these stocks up here that you can kind of look at all at one time. You analyze, you got your fundamentals, take a look at those. You got the scanning where it goes out and you can put in different types of parameters to where you can go out and scan every single publicly traded stock that's on any stock exchange, whether it's the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, OTC, whatever it is. And depending on what parameters you put in here, it'll bring all that stock back up, and then you can take a look and go through this and pick out those stocks that meet your particular criteria. And so you've got Market Watch. All of these little things, you see these little red squares, they're red because that particular stock is actually down today. Okay, so if you see a lot of green, that's good. If you see a lot of red, that's just a cautionary thing to say, hey, you know what? This is opening lower than what it closed on Friday. And so you can choose these and pick them, and then you can go through and take a look at them and go from there. And of course, we talked about the charts. We're talking about the tools and what type of information is out there for you depending on your stock. I do want to show you all one more thing before we close the session out today. So over here in this window, say you're out and about and you want to keep an eye, you want to keep an eye on the market and what's going on with like through CNBC. Well, you can go over here, you can go through live TV, you can find live news threads, you can watch just about anything, based on what it is that you're looking for, right? So we'll just pull up Trader TV and we'll go through here and we'll change the channel to CNBC US. Now you're gonna hear something pop up and you'll see actually CNBC that's actually
Because of
back
course
there.
these companies, many of
So if
them
you
never
see this, isn't this
some of their
cool? So if you
paper
see this,
and
if you're
bring in
looking at this
funds
over
at
here,
such
that's exactly
reasonable
what's on my
rates.
screen
How
back
will this
there.
extra debt in the
All right,
future
so you don't
cause
have to be
potentially
disconnected
different
simply because you're
behavior?
not sitting at home. You can
Well,
pick your
firstly,
laptop
a
up,
lot
you
of
can
the
pick up
preparing the balance
your mobile
sheet segment of
device,
what we're
and
seeing
you
in
can
phase
go
of this
in
COVID era finance.
anywhere you want, sit out at the park, and you can trade stock, and you can do everything that you can do and then stay up on top of things. So one other thing, when you do download Thinkorswim, you can sync it across all of your devices. Okay, I have Thinkorswim on my cell phone, I have Thinkorswim on my tablet, I have Thinkorswim on my machine here. So I'm never out of touch with what it is that I'm trying to accomplish and what it is that I'm trying to do. So again, just to kind of finish off the tabs, there is an education section up here where you can actually go out once you become a TD Ameritrade client. You can go out here and you can learn a lot of this stuff. I'm a glutton for punishment. I just love to read, and this stuff I find fascinating. So you can go in and you can learn about technical analysis. You can learn about all of these different things that are out there, building the proper portfolio depending on what type of strategy you want. So there's a lot of stuff. Remember, I mentioned to you options trading. This is where I initially started with trying to learn options, and it's been a real big help in me understanding. I've taken to passion of learning everything that I can about the velocity and the philosophy of money, and then being able to articulately teach that back to the community. So this is a passion of mine. I absolutely love it. And I want to make sure that you, as a person that's watching this video, get the information that you need to at least get started. There's no need to go through brokers or anything like that, because they're going to charge you fees in order to do exactly what you can do by yourself if you just give yourself 15, 30 minutes a day to do this. And it's really done by, number one, turning off stuff that doesn't make you any money. This makes money. So if you're listening to the stock market and listening to what's going on, and you know where to put your money based on your strategy, you've just made money. Watching Empire does not make you any money. Watching all these other shows don't make you any money. So you have to do those things that are going to make you some cash. So guys, this is it. I just wanted to introduce as a beginning course, introduce you to this. Go out, again, go to thinkorswim.com, pull down the application, open up a quick account. Down below, there's going to be some links to some great information. So go ahead and get that stuff in your coffers as well. And then we'll go through everything starting tomorrow. We'll talk about fundamentals. We'll talk about technical analysis. We'll talk about options. We'll talk about how to put everything kind of together, these points. We'll go through very detailed chart analysis, kind of looking at what to look for as far as buy signals, sell signals, so on and so forth. And then we'll help you build that confidence that you need in order to say, you know what, I'm a stock owner. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get this because I understand how this works. So again, I want to thank you so much for listening in, and be on the lookout for part 2, which is going to be, again, on fundamentals. We're going to go through, we're going to pick a couple of stocks, and we're going to go through the financial sheet. I'm going to teach you how to read that, and it's going to be a very good opportunity for you to take a look, get that confidence that you need, as I mentioned before, and put you in a position to where you can be very successful. Okay? Thank you all so much. Have a great one. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for joining my channel again and listening in. This is going to be a fun little series, part 1 of 7. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. I wanted to share a couple of things with you. Again, down at the bottom, there's going to be contact information that you'll be able to chime in on. There's going to be a PDF that you can download that's going to help you with just as a reference guide. This is really, really good. And it's going to help you kind of bridge that gap of information. You cannot get to a level of proficiency unless you really understand what the markets are doing, unless you really kind of follow in the footpaths of people that have gone out and they've laid the groundwork and they've made most of the mistakes that you and I are going to make, but they're going to cover for us. So a couple of books, The Intelligent Investor. This is the very first book that I started reading when I decided that I was going to make it a complete passion to understand how the financial markets work and to be able to help everyone. Again, these books are going to be, there's going to be links to these books down in the bottom. This is probably the best book on the market when it comes to technical analysis. Now, I do take in fundamentals and I look through the fundamentals, but I mostly operate off of technical analysis. And we'll talk about technical analysis on the third day, but or part 3. Technical analysis is what I was mentioning earlier in the video, where it talks about being able to read market sentiment and financial behavior. Excellent, excellent, excellent book. This is the book that charter market technicians study before they get ready to take their exam. So this is an excellent book, and it's not dry. It's actually really, really good. And there's reviews out there that'll help you. It also comes with a workbook. This is the best thing. I cannot tell you how valuable both of these books are when it comes to understanding, because not only are you reading, you're going through, then you're going through the workbook and you're applying what you just learned. So it's going to give you that opportunity to be very proficient and very good at what it is that you do. So one other book that I did want to share with you before I let you go, I love this office, by the way, is the Financial Investment Handbook. You cannot learn what's going on in these markets unless you know this. This is the Bible. This is the holy grail of definitions and terms and applications of everything that happens out in the financial markets, anywhere from banking, business, finance, all of that stuff. Again, you know, once I begin to learn the language and understand, I'll share a quick story with you all. Once I learned the language and understood what was going on, the fear that I had before, because I've had the same types of things, but then I started applying what I was learning, and I started having these wins and started, you know, one day making $100, another day making $600 and all this stuff. Now, I'm not telling you that's how much you're going to make. I want to be clear, and I have to give you a disclaimer. I'm not telling you what stocks to buy, and I cannot tell you what you're going to make. But when you apply what you learned, when you know your strategy, when you know your risk level, and you know what you're going to do and what you want to accomplish, you'll begin to feel those wins, and you'll begin to be far more confident in establishing your future financial independence and your future financial freedom. So that's what I'm here for. I'm looking forward to all of these series that I'm going to be handing out. Information is going to be at the bottom. The email address, my website, I should say, is down at the bottom as well. Feel free to contact me. Go out there. If you got any questions, please like my video. Please hit a thumbs up. Share it with whomever, so that we can really kind of build an audience and help take financial freedom to just about anybody that wants to learn it. So thank you again so much. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in part 2, fundamentals. Bye.